Hey, true believers, Englentine here with another episode of Marvel vs. DC. For those of you who are new, I have read and reviewed every comic book you're seeing pass by right now, and then I rank them. 1 star is horrible, 2 stars bad, 3 stars average, 4 stars good, and 5 stars excellent. And, of course, I put them in order, worst to best, so this is a countdown. The first one you're going to see is the worst one I've read in the week. Now, these are not long, in-depth reviews, obviously. They're just long enough to tell you, is this book good, is this book bad, and why is it good or bad? Now, before we get started, if you like the video, please click like or share. That helps to get word out about the channel, and if you haven't done it already, subscribe and ring that bell. Make sure your notifications are on for YouTube, and make sure you're notified for the videos that are coming out here. Cool things happen, and I hate for you to miss a thing. Also, if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on over to Patreon or to Ko-Fi. Links are in the description below. And drop $1 in the till. Help us keep the lights on. Helps keep making videos for you. And if you want to make me work for my money, go on over and commission a video on Ko-Fi. Links in the description below. You could choose any of the categories we do videos in, and then any character or storyline, and they will get done. Alrighty, and now, with all that out of the way, let's get this party started. The 1-star books are horrible and should be avoided at all costs, so we're lucky we don't have any this week. The 2-star books are merely bad. They could have been horrible, but maybe they have 1 or 2 things that save them from that particular fate. Swordmaster #1. Now, while this is better than Arrow, this is in no way, shape, or form a good comic. So Marvel's trying to court the manga crowd, and in this case, a guy's got a powerful sword, and he ends up facing down a demon. And they do have panels like this that kind of resemble some of the stuff that I've seen in manga and anime. But overall, it's just not interesting. This is not a compelling character to follow. Captain Marvel #8. In all honesty, I wasn't going to get this one, but it was like, oh my gosh, you got to get this because there's a new character and isn't going to be worth a lot on eBay. And I'm like, why? Why? Because there's a new, oh my gosh, headache for speculators. The story itself is almost a retelling of the first issue of this series, and I guess they're doing that to bring in the new character. Don't think I didn't notice, Marvel. Don't think I didn't notice. It's okay at best, and at worst, it's Captain Marvel #8. Collapser is a bad story about a bad guy who we follow his life in the first part, and he gets this package, and instead of opening it and discovering what it is and moving the plot forward, we get more of his life after he gets the package, when that is where the story really should have started. Because as soon as this dark energy that's seeping from it gets on him, his world changes, and it just takes forever and ever to get there. It's making it quite a boring book. Fearless #1. So this is all about the women of Marvel as they gear up to go to a summer camp where they could speak to a lot of girls about being strong and powerful women. It's kind of ridiculous that a summer camp would be able to pay all these speaker fees, and they talk about speaker fees in this one. And it really is very episodic, and Storm comes off as an eco-terrorist. Not a particularly good comic book here, guys. Star Wars #68. Now, okay, Star Wars in general is impressive because they can't really do anything with these stories. This is between Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back, so we know where they end up. But so it's amazing that they can tell some really cool stories, but sometimes they dress Han Solo and Princess Leia to look like the Matrix, and the story bombs. And that's what happens here. I cannot recommend this particular issue of Star Wars. Okay, so now we've got Batman Universe written by Brian Michael Bendis. We had Superman written by Tom King, and neither one of them's proven that they could excel on either book, to tell you the truth. In this particular case, this, instead of like a coherent story, this really feels like he's walking around checking off boxes. Oh, I used Riddler, check. Here's Johnny Hex, check. Here's Deathstroke, check. And I know it's going to have further issues, so I just hope he kind of gets everything straight and kind of narrows it into one cohesive narrative. Uncanny X-Men #22 kind of made me sad. I don't like what happened. They wrote Cyclops as Rash again, and he's not. He's not the dick. What he is he's a strategic person who's very efficient, and he breaks situations down to their essence so that he can lead his teams better. That's who he is. But for years and years, he's just been written as an ass. I think the key to writing a good X-Men book has to be getting Cyclops right. He cares for mutants, and he cares for humankind. But I could tell at the end of this one, half of that equation is going to be missing. Batman number 74 is another Tom King attempt to be deep, but it just fails. One of the biggest problems with the book is, as I said before, he's deconstructed this character down to the nub. There's nothing left of Batman in the Batman books, so we can't relate emotionally to it. And here he is trying to tell a story in the desert with not Batman and not Batman's dad, but we can't really find the hook to it without the character. And both of them look incredibly stupid riding on horses and cowls. Nobody freaking cares. Nobody knows you. Just, I don't know. Not a lot good going on in Batman these days. The Terrifics number 18. So, in general, I would tell you to pick up the Terrifics. It's a really good series, but not every issue is going to be a winner, and this is not a winner. I'm not a big fan of this Noosphere storyline, and it really just seems to be kind of random. Just a lot of stuff happening that's just unconnected to each other, and they're trying to tie it in with some very loose threads. The House of X number 1 didn't work for me. It's all over the place. It may be setting up a lot of stuff that'll pay off later, but this particular issue, the one that I'm reviewing right now, was a mess. It makes the villains, or it makes the X-Men out to be the villains. They're isolationists. They're in some ways terroristic. It just doesn't work for me. I want the X-Men, man. And maybe Hickman will pull it out in the next issues, but for this one, it's kind of a dud. The 3-star books are average. They either didn't resonate with me, or I liked them, but just not enough to recommend them. Jane Foster Valkyrie is a lot better than Jane Foster Thor. However, she wants to stop death rather than accompany the dead to hell, which is, it's your job. You got one job to do. Okay, so in all honesty, the action is rushed, and it really wants to be a slice of life book. That's what I got when I read this, and overall, it just kind of flatlined. It's not bad. It's not good. It's a book. They made a comic. Yay. The History of Marvel number 1 is a decent YouTube video put on paper, in the fact that they cover everything, where it's like, okay, in the beginning, these guys came, and then this guy, and this guy, and this guy. And the art just, it could be a lot better, I think. It's not bad. It's serviceable. But I think that's what you should call this entire book. This book exists. It's there. And if you want it, get it. If not, nobody's going to judge you, but that's all it is. It is the parsley of comic books. Wonder Woman, Come Back to Me number 1 is kind of a disconnected story. It seems like there's about 5 or 6 pages added on that are not necessary. It's a lot of fleshing out here. Overall, the art is okay. Actually, that's the best way to describe this book. It's okay. Yeah, she goes and she saves some firemen and find out that Steve Trevor's in trouble. It's okay. It's serviceable. It's passable. If this is the first book like a kid is reading of Wonder Woman, I think they'll want to read more. It's just, if you've been reading Wonder Woman stories for a while, it doesn't stack up well against the rest, or at least most of them. Scooby-Doo Team Up number 98. The Scooby-Doo team is with Metamorpho this time around, and they have to fight Mrs. Morpho. I know that's not her name, but okay. So anyway, the Scooby-Doo team doesn't do anything really. They just kind of hang around and they play catch with this power sphere. It's fun. It's also forgettable. I think it's a lot more for the younger set, but it works as a kid's comic. Web of Venom, Funeral Pyre. I did a full review of this on one of the videos. I think it's with the X-Men, and I don't exactly remember what I said, but I can say that after I've had some time to think about it, it's okay. It's a very average book. Doesn't feel like it's going to impact anything. I thought the young lady in this story was okay and interesting enough, but what they did with her, it was kind of boring, because it was really just a showcase to show you how tough Carnage is. And I'm over the whole symbiote thing at this point. The Invisible Woman #1 shows a little bit of a lack of creativity. I'm sorry, I'm going to call BS on this one. They make her a SHIELD agent. No. The Invisible Woman's life alone should be more than exciting enough to write a story around without having to tie in that BS element of she's a SHIELD agent. She's one of the most powerful superheroes in the Marvel Universe. And that just didn't sit well with me, which is sad because it's fun. Also, it's just that was the one element I couldn't get past. Justice League #28. Can't really say it was a miss because there was good parts about it. Lex Luthor's trying to court Martian Manhunter, but that part kind of falls flat. What really carries the story is the bit with the Justice League on the planet Quard. It was more exciting, it was fun, it was interesting. I wanted to see where they went with it. Unfortunately, it was more aimed towards the Lex Luthor stuff. Amazing Spider-Man #25 is one of these giant-sized issues that the price is jacked up on and everything. And in all honesty, it's also an anthology story. Some of it works. The Mysterio stuff I liked. There were things about the Mary Jane story I liked. But in the end, it really does feel like this is just an advertisement for upcoming stories rather than concentrating on being a decent story on its own right here and right now. Invaders #7 is a great example of they can't all be winners. Sorry, gang. I love this series as a whole. This one just it's the aftermath of the big Namor fight. Iron Man is in Captain America are added. We've seen it. We've done it. We've been there. You're the bad guy. No, you're the bad guy. It really did feel like a retread rather than something fresh. Or at least an old story told fresh, because we've seen Namor attack the mainland anyway before, but I'm looking forward to issue #8, and hopefully it gets back on track. Okay, so Batman #75 is one of those stories where it wants the readers to catch up to it. Okay, that's fine. We also are to believe that Psycho Pirate is being used to control the villains in order for them to love Bane and Gotham City to help him rule Gotham City. While Batman, the dad Batman, is basically being Batman of Gotham City now. It's okay. It's better than issue #74. I'm willing to see where it goes just basically because it's a Batman book. It's one of those that are kind of mandatory, but oh my goodness. I'm not excited about it though. Okay, so Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man #8. I swear the enemy is Indiegogo. It's kind of weird, but I'm getting that kind of vibe here. There you go. It's entertaining. You know, I do like Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man as a series so far. He meets up with the Prowler because he noticed some crimes. He thinks he's back in the business. And then he and the Prowler go to investigate who's actually committing these crimes. It's, like I said, it's a fun book. Aquaman #50. First of all, Black Manta returns in the last panel. I hate it when they center a cover on the very last panel of a book. How is it on the inside? It's okay. Is it getting better? Is Kelly Sue DeConnick bringing anything to the story? So far, so no. It's very flatline as far as the story's concerned. It's there. It's not bad. It's not good. It exists, and that's about the best I could say about Aquaman #50. What a letdown considering the praise I was giving it just last year. Batman Curse of the White Knight #1. I did a full review of this, so please check that out. You'll also get some other #1s that came out with it, reviews. This, however, is not bad. It's not as gripping as Batman White Knight #1. However, you can absolutely tell this is being written for the trades, and that's a big problem. Sean Murphy's a decent writer, but unfortunately the pacing is a little bit off for what should be an exciting single issue. Before we get to the 4-star books, I do have to say the 5-star books, excellent as they are, there were none this week. The 4-star books, however, are good, and I am happy to recommend them to you. The Stanley Artgerm Lau poster portfolio is exactly what you think. It's little poster versions of a lot of his better covers. Not all of them, because there were a couple I was hoping that would be in here that wasn't. And I was a little disappointed, but come on, the stuff that you do get is excellent. And yeah, it's the one book I could see taking apart just to hang up on the wall. Seriously, it's awesome. Okay, Nightwing #62, another one where we get what happens on the last panel in the cover. That being said, I'm kind of starting to enjoy what Dan Jurgens is doing with the character. Now, granted, I don't like Rick Grayson. Turn it back to Dick Grayson. The whole thing about him throwing away his past that's unnecessary for this story to go through. But all the peripheral stuff is very entertaining. I like the side characters, actually, more than I do the main character right now. Wonder Woman number 74. I have to say, and I've said it before, that I'm kind of enjoying what Willow Wilson is doing with this. And this storyline, though, is kind of like Us, where they're going to this mirror verse of Paradise Island. It's still entertaining, though. You definitely can tell where she got some ideas, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the Return of the Amazon storyline. Loki number 1. Surprisingly okay with it. Considering it came from War of Realms, and that was a completely underwhelming crossover, I kind of enjoyed this issue where we just basically get a catch up on where he's been and what he's been doing. It's an entertaining book. I like the character, and I think he's written pretty well here. I was very pleasantly surprised. So this is the third time I've done this review for Batman 1007 because I can't stop calling the Spectre the Spirit. It's it's a great tale, and I've been loving it. I like Batman and the Spectre together. It's kind of creepy. I do like the whole idea of someone trying to separate the Spectre from the Host. There's a lot of really, like I said, it's just a lot of good ideas strolling around in this book with some great art. Tomasi's killing it on Detective, where Tom King is failing Batman over in his regular title. Action Comics 1013. I've been digging what's been going on in Action Comics. I know I'm supposed to hate everything Brian Michael Bendis does, and I really don't like his writing, but occasionally he comes out with a story that's okay, and this one's okay. I don't like his Superman stuff, but so far in Action, and this issue in particular, is quite interesting. And all this Leviathan stuff that seems really boring in Event Leviathan, its miniseries, is actually moving along in this book. Superman's pal, Jimmy Olsen, number 1. So I'm hearing a lot of people compare this to the Lois Lane comic by Greg Rucka, but that was a message in search of a story. This is a story, and it's fun. It's entertaining. It delves into Jimmy Olsen's past, at the same time kind of launching it to the future. It really is just one of those books that make you really love comics. I'm not saying it's perfect. It's just really, really fun. Spider-Man Life Story number 5, the 2000s, includes Spider-Verse stuff, Civil War stuff. I really like the fact that they dealt with a Clone Saga here as well, or at least the aftermath. It's still an entertaining book. I can't say it's gotten either worse or better, but it's definitely maintained quality throughout the last 5 issues. So if you have been liking it, you're still going to like it. And if you haven't, this one's not going to do much for you either. Immortal Hulk number 21 gives us an origin story. I'm basically the guy who's chasing the Hulk, and I kind of appreciated it. I like the fact that it included, of course, General Thunderbolt Ross. The whole story, he started off as a soldier and kind of just worked his way through, really focusing on he wants to take down the Hulk. It shows not only his determination, but he's actually obsessed with it. And that just makes it more and more entertaining as the story goes on. Detective Comics 1008 is just more proof that Peter J. Tomasi belongs on Batman. He belongs on Superman too, all right? Just saying. So anyway, what we get here is, in my opinion, a very well-written, modernized look at a Silver Age Joker story. I mean, he kills in this one, but it still really has that old-time comics feel to it as he leads Batman on a tour of basically a death park that he set up. Daredevil number 8 is one of those books that's only effective in the hands of a person who can write dialogue, and that's Zdarsky. And I'll tell you, it's all about Matt Murdock sitting down. He didn't know he was going to do it, but he ends up having dinner with a crime family, and they basically talk about morality. And it's a really cool, really interesting story. Not a lot of action, I'm telling you. This is a conversation book, but it is totally gripping. The Flash, number 74. Admittedly, when this first started, I wasn't excited. I've read Flash Year One. This is not a new story, so except it is, and they made the turtle badass, and I'm very much enjoying this. This is a character I never took serious, and now I'm thinking, yeah, all right, I'm good with this. This is an exciting story. Those are all the reviews, so let's find out who won the week, Marvel or DC. DC Comics had 0 1 stars, 4 2 stars, 6 3 stars, 8 4 stars, 0 5 stars. For a score of 50, there were 18 comics, making an average of 2.78. Marvel, on the other hand, had 0 1 stars, 6 2 stars, 7 3 stars, 4 4 stars, 0 5 stars. With a score of 49, there were 17 comics. They had an average of 2.88. So Marvel Comics wins the race, and this is big. I'm a huge DC Comics fan. I have to say I'm biased towards their character, but I've got to review every book honestly and on its own merit individually each week. I gotta say, congratulations, Marvel. Not a huge win, but a win nonetheless. But there you go, gang. Those are the reviews. That's the tally. That's the score, and that's who won. Let me know what you think. What did I rank too high? What did I rank too low? What do you agree with? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to click like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you haven't done it. Make sure that your notifications for YouTubes are turned on. I'd hate for you to miss anything. Cool things happen around these parts. Also, if you don't mind helping out the channel, go on over to Ko-Fi or to Patreon and drop $1 in the till, and helps keep the lights on, help us keep making videos for you. Or if you want me to work for my money, by all means, go on over to Ko-Fi and commission a video. You can pick any of the categories we do. Pick any character, any storyline, any villain, any team, any object. And we could talk about the history of it, or is that story that good or that bad, or even a top 10 list. It's a lot of fun. I like doing this thing, and I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that. And to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching.